Hello boss, what's up? Welcome to the second part of the video. Uh, honest guide to engineering or practical guide to engineering. So this is the version for the second year. Some tips, do's and don'ts for your second year of engineering. So I hope the first one added a lot of value to you. The first part wherein I spoke about the various do's, don'ts and some tips for the first year of your engineering. So let's get started. So the first point in second year of engineering is okay. Yeah, by the way, I have my book. Okay, so I've noted down all the points that came into my mind so that I don't miss out on anything that's important. So the first point is continue making money or start making money. That teaches you independence and financial discipline. Boss, as I told in the last video also, you need to start figuring out a way to make yourself financially independent, right? Because I genuinely feel that once you step into your teens, once you're done with probably say once you're like 18 years or more, once you have that mentality that you need to start earning and you need to be less and less reliant on your parents for say like your small expenses like covering your monthly charges, just something that pays up your bills, right? So find any work or whatever that is ethical, legal and doable, and also doesn't occupy much of your time, because you need to even focus on other aspects of your engineering also, say like preparing for your jobs, internships, right? But something that acts like a side hustle and provides you some stable source of income, right? Even if it's not like to a great extent which is a big money making thing or whatever, something that covers your bills, right? So that's my first point. Second, educate yourself in your domain and explore all the possible routes. Choose one that interests you. So this one thing, right? You need to do this. You need to start doing this in your second year of engineering. I completely give you that benefit of doubt that you won't be clear as in what you have to do or what domain or which domain actually interests you, right? So the only way in which you actually get to know about this is through exploration. So start exploring all the domains. Say like I can speak about computer science because I have done my computer science engineering. So in computer science, say you have many different domains, right? For example, web development, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain. Uh, you have domains like this, Android development. So I would say start exploring, start getting a taste of all these domains, right? And start pursuing. So first initially start exploring all these domains. Say take like a month or 2 or 3 months probably to explore all these domains and find one domain that actually interests you and wherein you feel that okay, if I invest say like 100 hours or 100 plus hours on this particular domain, I won't be bored to a very big extent, or I wouldn't mind facing a lot of challenges in this domain, right? So find a domain like that and start working uh, very deep into that domain, because I honestly feel that you need to be an expert at one or the other points. Sure, you can be like a generalist, that's very much needed in this day and age too, but being a specialist in one field, uh, so that makes your path very easy when you transition into other field, because you would be knowing the exact constructs that you need to follow in the other fields too. So I would say explore all these domains and become a specialist in one field that actually interests you, and be very honest with yourself. Third, start the third point was exactly the same thing. Start working on that particular domain every day. So just continuing the second point, choose one particular domain that interests you after exploring a lot of domains and start being consistent on one particular domain. Guys, this particular point, right, it has like a crazy benefit and it has like a multiplying reward, I would say, because once you start working on a domain, say like web development every day, right, once you start showing up, once you start coding side by side, the impact that you would see is phenomenal. You would start picking up things, you would start building things on your own. and the amount of confidence you get from that is great. So this would be my advice. Start working on that particular domain every day. Next, DSA is a must to get an interview and to improve your thinking ability. Let's face it, I definitely know that tech hiring is flawed. That sometimes you feel that, okay, my worth is just not based on a single question that is asked in an interview. But coming from a senior, I would say, please don't have all these thoughts. It is the way it is in the industry. You have to accept this norm. At least in if you want to get into a good MNC or whatever, you have to start working on data structures and algorithms. So start making data structures and algorithms your best friends if you want to like get into software engineering, right? So DSA is must to get an interview. Just to get an interview, DSA is a must because the first round would definitely be your coding round, right? And only then you can talk about your project's accomplishments or whatever, and then an on-site round and everything follows from that. So yeah, that would be my advice, guys. And a huge, this is actually a very, very, very important advice. DSA is a must to get an interview. Next, start doing at least one project. Best case two, implement it all by yourself and build everything from scratch. Okay. Why am I putting a lot of emphasis on the last sentence? Build everything from scratch. Let me explain what that means, okay? So, how do we usually learn a particular skill or a particular field? At least in terms of coding, you go to YouTube video and then on the side you code by looking at the screen, which is a very good way to get started. You mimic the exact same thing what the instructor is doing. You essentially type the same code what the instructor is doing and you understand it too, and in case you get some doubts you just google it and then you resolve your doubts and boom, you get the output. So that's very good for starters and to learn. But your maximum learning, okay, actually happens when you start doing everything from scratch. Imagine you have like a proper Visual Studio Code window with 0 files. You open a plain folder and you have to create everything. You have to start from initializing the package.json, okay? So you have to start right from initializing npm. So that should be your starting point, at least in terms of web development or whatever. I'm a web developer, so yeah, I'm taking all those jargons. So I mean I mean that when I talk about starting from scratch, right? You shouldn't have any piece of code that is not written by someone else. So you're building a see again. Another point is all of us start thinking that, oh, I need to build something great if I want to develop on my own. No, start building something simple, but build it from scratch. Okay, build it from scratch. Say like you want to build a notes app, right? The amount of complexity that you can introduce in this small little application is phenomenal. Say first you can just build a notes app that just takes your notes, and in the front end it stores all your notes. You add a note, it stores into an array, it retrieves it, but it doesn't persist the state as soon as you refresh the web page. The second challenge or the enhancement in this could be you start saving the notes to your local storage and you retrieve all your notes every time. The third step would be you actually have a proper backend and you store it. And the fourth step would be enhancing the UI. So that's the complexity I'm talking. So look, for a simple notes app, you can actually like do wonders, okay, with the complexity. So yeah, that's my very, very, very important advice. So there's this term called as tutorial hell. Okay, I was stuck in this. So you start watching a lot of tutorials and then you're like, oh, I should learn this, I should learn this, I should learn this. Oh, there's a new framework, let me start learning this. But in the end, you'll realize that you've actually not built anything with any of these frameworks, right? So my tip would be keep your tech stack as little as possible or as minimal as possible and start building things from that. So yeah, that would be my advice. Next is realize what not to do. Okay, realize what not to do. This again applies to the same concept of choosing a particular domain. So I'll give you an example. Okay, so you say you'll get started with web development. You've been like coding consistently for 1, 2, 3 months, and all of a sudden you see the hype is around web 3. Okay, you're still a web 2 developer or whatever, and the hype is all around web 3 blockchain, and some of your friends, or they're excited by chat gpts, open AI's chat gpt, and they're like, oh, ML is the future. So all of them get into ML, and you're like, oh, you've got this FOMO that, oh, I'm in web development, no, I should be in ML. Guys, I've seen many of them doing this mistake, and they don't get better at any of the fields. Okay, see, I told you, being generalist is very good, but being a specialist is awesome. Okay, so realize what not to do. Okay, that's a very, very, very important tip. So be consistent, trust your gut, trust your plan. Okay, and keep working, and trust me, you'll get all the results. Next, try to explore various opportunities of companies providing internships in third year. And I'll just complement one more point to this. The next point: internship to PPO, no tension in your third and final year. So I actually followed this route, and I was like very clear from the onset, from my first year, that getting a PPO getting an internship and then converting that to a PPO would be my best bet to avoid all the hassles of placements and whatnot. So your goal essentially should be to make yourself free and make your life as smooth as possible, right? So this should be your plan, or at least this could be one of your plans if you want to make things easy for yourself. So there are many companies, okay, which actually start hiring for interns, which actually start like looking out for interns right from their second year. So usually companies offer their internship either in third or fourth year, and if you want to get a PPO, right? So your most of the chances are in your third year. So look for these companies which offer you the position of summer internship, summer intern, or winter intern. Okay, and start preparing for these companies. Coming back to my previous point, right? Start preparing for DSA, and side by side start building some good projects. See, DSA just gives you an entry to that company, okay? But whatever work that takes place in that company is purely based on development. So if you don't know, say basics like Git, or version control, and say you don't know how to build APIs and whatnot, then my friend, you'll have like a very hard time in these companies and catching up and performing at the level that you're expected, right? So my advice would be, first make a list of all the companies that provide PPO and hire interns who are in their third year, right? And these companies, okay, the trend what I've seen is most of these companies hire in the second year of your engineering. Say like you get through this company in your second year, they'll offer you a internship in the third year, and chances are that if you perform really well, they'll definitely give you a PPO and you're sorted. You don't even need to like sit in placements, and because that's the thing, right? I have one more point which states that utilize the lack of hunger of others. So if you see the general trend, most of them, okay, they're laid back. See, they're laid back and not that caring about academics and future and whatnot. They're like, we'll see in third or final year. Okay. My thing is, I don't want you to be too complacent. Chill out, okay, chill out, be relaxed and be cool and whatnot. But don't get too laid back and think like, oh, okay, let me go where the universe takes me or whatever. No, my friend, that doesn't work in real world. You need to like make a living and you need to earn, right? So yeah, we can't be complacent. At least I hope that people who are watching this channel don't want to be complacent and basically then regret in fourth year that shit, I could have like utilized my previous years and haven't lived up to my potential. That's not a good place to be in. Okay, so this is my advice. Try to make a list of all the companies that actually hire candidates for the position of internships in their third year, and chances are that most of these companies would conduct the drive for the internship in your second year. Okay, so start preparing, and it's really easy to actually get an internship, because as I told, most of them won't be hungry, right? You would be hungry, you would have a proper plan, you would have like a resume to back it up. So chances are that you'll easily get through the process, and yeah, you'll, and following this route you'll get an internship, you'll basically get a good working experience, and if you perform really well, you might get a PPO as well, man. What more do you want? Like, you won't even like have the tension of not being placed or whatever. So fortunately I followed this route with a proper plan right from my first year, and I was never actually worried about placements or whatever, because I already had like a proper job offer right from my third year, I would say. So yeah, this strategy is, I would definitely recommend this strategy to you. Next, this is a crazy point. Utilize the lack of hunger of others. Just adding back to the previous point, most of them in this world, or you would see in your class itself, right? They're not hungry. I'm being very blunt and honest. 90% of them just come to college just because that's the norm of society, right? And they don't have any vision, they don't have interest towards that subject, they don't have interest towards whatever that's being taught about, and they just come to, basically, I don't know, they just exist, man. They just exist. I don't want you to do that. Have a proper vision, have a proper goal, and continuously start striking each one of them, and just keep moving forward, even if you see that some of them are performing with an intensity you can't even fathom. That's completely fine. As I told you, intensity is not the end result, my friends. It's all about consistency. Say, like, if a person has this level of intensity and is actually playing with your mind, oh, you're thinking, oh my god, this guy is very smart, or this girl is very smart, or she's the best coder or whatever, and yeah, just don't get intimidated by them. You put in your work, be consistent, and all the rewards and everything will start following you. And I know this is like a cliched statement, but definitely utilize the lack of hunger of others. With that, we've come to an end of basically all the honest tips or advices that I could come up with for all you guys in second year of your engineering, or those who are watching, just for a heads up, uh, so as to what to expect in your second year, right? So yeah, I would be concluding the video over here, and I will be coming back very soon with third year and fourth year too. I hope I'm definitely adding value to you. So kindly implement all these points. Yeah. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.